Let that echo. Let that echo in your mind. Let that echo beyond the beyond, realizing the awakening, the singularity of the oneness. Empty of self. Let this be your reality. Now, welcome to the consciousness of the way. My beautiful divine co-host, Jade. And I'm your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Quinn. How beautiful those notes that always serenade us. This sweet harmony. It's just like silk moving through space and time and bringing us here to this present moment.
So beautiful. I'm still in it.
Yeah. I mean, that, evidence of how powerful you are as an individual, as a collective, is that state, that access point, and how quickly you can obtain it or live in it.
Woo.
Woo. Yeah, it's like a resonance that is like everything that we talk about, everything that we explain, everything that we get into is a energy, frequency, vibration. And this is a very, very beautiful reminder of how quickly you change your state.
How powerful sound is.
Oh,
that
my goodness.
Frequency, vibration. I mean, it's probably most people use it as one of the quickest ways to, get out of whatever's troubling them at that moment. Put on my favorite song, put on, whatever, heavy metal music, classical music, pop music, whatever works for them to just...
And what's really powerful about what you're saying, Jade, is understanding how quickly you obtain that, unknowingly being aware, tapping into the field at that highest frequency, the synergy, the flow. And music does that. It's instantaneous, shifts your brain waves, and it's valuable to you and you only. The biggest gap in the transfer of that is being able to access it at will. And that's where music is so powerful, because, people, just move this over. People use it as a tool to get to their state, yet they don't realize truly the fundamentals of how to get there. I just know it has has an instantaneous effect on them, which puts them into this state of coherence. Which brings us to today. And at this point, with the amount of questions that we get, understanding how to change your state and the fundamentals of that, and realizing what it takes to get there can be fleeting. It could be, within a picosecond. And this all comes down to, are you the master keeper creator of your reality? What that takes to create those heightened levels of consciousness, and how to get there.
And what I think most people just kind of have intuitively go, oh, I put my music on, I relax, I chill out. Or, even the term spa music is like embedded as relaxation. You're already setting the space to be in a certain state. What actually happens when you hear that audio, that changes it?
Well, yeah. Is that a question?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Great question. It's like it's a triggering of a dominoes effect that takes place. And when you understand the fundamentals, because embedded deeply within, Taoist practices, Eastern practices specifically, and, you can travel the world looking for the masters, for the gurus of these types of altered states, these levels of consciousness that people chase for. People around the world that attempt to, what's the word? Persuade me to take them as a student, to teach them these masterful tools. It is most definitely in the category of mastery. And, we've talked on this before, previously, understanding the visionary concept, the state of your mind, that you have to be able to create clearly the image that you want, the target that you want, and where you want to direct your intention to acquire a manifestation, a healing, magic. All those things are in the same category. The layers of them are layered by your construct of your perception of your reality, and that's how you layer these. This is how you gain the access point. But brainwaves, the question was brainwaves?
Yeah, like when you hear that audio, you kind of know it happens,
right?
But you don't know how.
Right.
Like how does it happen? Like what is shifting to create that?
Right. So, okay, let's break down some of the fundamentals, because they're kind of important. I've briefly sort of ushered this motion towards lots of digging and diving within the scientific community to get an understanding of how, ancient Eastern practices like Taoism, like Hinduism, like Buddhism, how they've created these heightened states of consciousness and awareness to manifest that seems godlike, immortal-like. Well, there's a reason why they use those words in relation to these states, because you literally need to be in that state to acquire these types of frequencies, where you are doing a lot more things, which is then now notioning towards things from history where there's an understanding conceptually of how objects were created, like the pyramids and things of that nature thousands of years ago. I mean, we can reference Taoist points where there are monuments of Taoist immortals and gods that were created that you would literally scratch your head on, and how that was possible. And they're scattered throughout Asia in reflection to Taoists. But the one that most people find most commonly of interest is the pyramids.
Yeah.
Because it just makes no sense in someone's mind how someone would have the ability to move these sort of bricks and stones that are the size of a mountain with just the capacity of a man's brute strength, and even 10,000 men. It's not possible. And we're coming to the realization that Jade and I have always known, all lineage holders within our sex and people that have been here before us, generations before us, hundreds of generations before us, that have handed these tools out, that have nurtured these tools, that have treasured the tools that are necessary to acquire these higher states of consciousness. And with that comes the physiology, how we tune these things. So sound is such a profound frequency in of itself. Sound is light, light is sound. Everything is energy, frequency, vibration. Everything has an endpoint, which is the frequency that creates the vibration that equals the energy. You have these components. Just imagine that's what they are. Everything is energy, frequency, vibration. Imagine you are in, and what they've lately referred to within the scientific community, a simulation, which I would have to agree with, understanding and personally experiencing on a daily basis how to acquire heightened states of consciousness, which I live in, is this, dimensional shift that, over time scientists have created this, model of understanding, well, how do we get there? How is that possible? And so the last 30 years, they've been studying the heart and brain connection, which we would call the upper and middle dantian. And now referencing what Jade is talking about with how sound is so powerful and what it does. Well, when you meet sound with your neurology, it has a fundamental effect, a cascading effect that shifts your neurology, that evokes what we call a supercharge of connectivity that is translated into energy, and that energy evokes an alchemical response in the body. So when you take in sound, you're subject to sound. It enters your ear as one of the perceptions, one of the sensory perceptions, out of the 5 that you have. It enters your ear, and it reverberates in this major nerve that runs through the body called the vagus nerve, baby. Viva Las Vegas. Oh, we went over this. It's with an A, not an E. But anyway, it hits the vagus nerve, and then vagus nerve is the maestro of your body when it comes to, it's the largest nerve in your body. It runs through your whole body, and it is the master. It has the ability to control every cell in your body at will. And of course, the sound reverberates within the vagus nerve, which turns you into a tuning fork, and it has an alchemical response depending upon how you have registered that sound through your life experience that is correlated with equal to or greater than, which we talk about this. So then it evokes the alchemical response, which in most cases we are stepping into explaining the phenomenon of the heart and brain coherence and the gut coherence. And we're going to go into this today because this is the question that everyone asks us, which is the brainwave. And then Jade was talking about, well, what does the sound do? How does it create the brainwave? And so you hit the vagus nerve with your sound, the sound that you love or you like or dislike, and it'll have completely different our chemical responses within your physical body, determined on how you've rated it through your sensory perception of your life experience. So that means that when that hits your ear and it's reverberating through your vagus nerve, which is, oscillating through every cell at an atomic level of your body, which is the maestro of your physical body. And as we refer to go ahead.
No, I'm just
so
listening.
as you lean upon that, and then we go back to the epigenetic model, understanding our thoughts change our reality. We are a product of our environment. So you are now having the Death Star moment that we constantly talk about. You have the sound coming in. It's reverberating through the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the maestro, the master. It's now using the alchemical response that has been given to you by the sound, because it's your sound, your experience, your body, your nervous system, and it evokes an alchemical response. So it's now hitting the heart, which is the grandmaster. You thought the vagus nerve was the master. Well, newsflash, everyone said, who's got that big brain on Brad? I don't know, where did that come from? A movie. I can't remember which movie. But in any case, you've heard me use it before. Big brain. Well, you actually have two brains in your body. Tell me when I need to zip it.
No, go.
Okay. So correlating those two brains, and everyone's like, okay, Sifu, you've been drinking too much of the holy water that you conjure up there when you're at your altar, and you definitely infused it with some type of secret sauce. What are you drinking? No. What's going on is, just recently, as I've referred to you before, in the last 30 years, due to specific scientists that were intrigued by this phenomenon that we create these high states of consciousness, which are now being referred to within correlating brainwave states, that they're now registering, and they're proclaiming the names of these brainwave states to account for what was traditionally 4 brainwave states, and now they're multiplying it by 8, 12. I mean, it seems to be never ending. Of course it is. Everything is abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite. So when you get this response, the alchemical response, it hits the vagus nerve. It then hits the heart, the brain, the big brain on Brad. That is the epicenter. The heart is like the grandmaster. You got the master, which is the vagus nerve. Then you have the grandmaster, and then you have the brain, which might be considered master in training, and so it's an amplifier.
So you're saying you have your brain, and your second brain is in your heart.
Right. Ooh.
And your heart basically runs your other brain?
Yeah. So, excuse me. So the discovery and understanding how we synchronize the heart with the brain, and Taoists have been doing this for thousands of years. We've associated it with understanding how to connect the sun, the moon, and the earth. And people are like, what the hell did he just say? Well, yeah, we're referencing these upper, middle, and lower Dantian are basically the epicenters. We have the universe within us. This is a Taoist principle and understanding that we've been using for thousands of years. The realization that all is one, one is all. So the brain is the sun, the heart is the earth, the moon is the gut. Now, you get that register it hits the heart, which has the largest neural network in your physical body. It outweighs anything else that we've spoken on. Jade and I have talked about the neural network within the hands, the feet, the face, have the highest level of nerve endings. The heart has more than any other part of your physical body. And it's an interesting correlation because we talk about how that information is set off. So it's pulsating and can immediately measure your emotional state. And you can literally talk to it if you have an understanding of this extra intelligence, this outer higher level intelligence that goes beyond this dimension, that you are in tune with your intuition, which in turn we talk about the gut. And so the gut is so important, but you have to understand how that messaging comes in and out. So you get a signal from the field, which is everything that is, and it hits the heart, it goes into the heart. The heart then takes the information, sends it up the parasympathetic nervous system to the brain. The brain processes it, then shoots it down from the sympathetic nervous system down into the gut, which gives you a gut register. And that's how it's correlated. So you're basically, understand this, guys. Heart of the brain, brain of the brain of the brain, and then you have the gut brain, which is more in turn a reflection of the heart brain, of the heart brain. So rather than getting confused.
So it's basically like the signal comes in, it connects with this signal, and it sends it down, and then your answer comes out.
Right. And that's how you stimulate the gut feeling. I have the gut feeling. I have a gut feeling this is taking place. How do I know it's right? And this is where people get confused. This incoherence that comes from emotions is where everyone gets all twisted.
Like my heart says one thing, but my head says another.
Yeah.
Or my head's thinking something, but that's not what's in my heart.
Right. So rocket fuel, this is it. Everything in a nutshell. You get information. Information is in the field. You are the field. In summation, to understand truly the highest level of consciousness that is the jump off of the ninth dimension, which is with everything, and then it multiplies from 9, 18, 27, it continues, but we measure the ninth dimensions because these are fundamentally the ground level studying and understanding of physics today, and it gives you a correlation of your consciousness, which each dimension gives you a level of consciousness that you're in. You step from 1 to 2 to 3 being the current state you're in right now. This is called the three-dimensional reality. And you are now going to heighten yourself to fourth dimensional reality. And that's why I always speak on the jump-off point. So to do that, you must create the coherence. And this is what Jade and I are moving towards today, is understanding that you get the information into the heart sends the signal up to the brain sends the signal down to the gut. Blammo, you have a supercharged Death Star moment where you are now ready to manifest. You, with that kinesthetic response that we are talking to you about, that feeling which is absolutely 100% necessary to register your consciousness, when that shot, that electric charge that takes place through the neural network of your body, that's when you know you have the aha moment, the Death Star moment, the gut reaction, the intuitive response, and that's when you shoot your information from your heart up to the brain, and that will go out into the field. The register is here. The actual projection comes from up here. And so you get that brainwave, and it's a build-up. It's like this incredible wave of excitement. If you've ever been a child, if you've ever been in a state of dizziness, that's how I equate it. It's like you get this super heavy state within your brain from the amount of energy that is absolutely saturating that pineal gland, that register, the transmitter that sends out all the information that you've got from here to here to here, that is when you have your Death Star moment.
So if someone says, okay, I got a new job, I have to move 3,000 miles away, should I take it?
Right.
And they want the right answer, the aligned answer.
Right.
Should they receive it from their heart? Should they, what should they do?
Well, this is the incoherent part. Like, it's understanding how to break it down. Once you get yourself tuned, you can get into that high gamma state, which is the synchronization of the brain and the heart. It's like the Shazam moment. This is the part we're talking about. The Shazam moment, the brain and the heart, it registers the gamma, and you've got alpha, theta, gamma going on, blammo. You're in super Death Star state, and that's when you know it's true, that kinesthetic charge. So, and that correlation is the absence of emotion and the presence of virtue, which puts you aligned. These are all sort of like building blocks that you understand to synchronize yourself within that state. And that's why with anything and everything, instead of creating complexity, even though we're speaking on it, and there is a lot to it, there's a lot of understanding to know how this works. The truth of the matter is, if you follow us, you do the 126 experience, you understand that the visual, audible experience creates the kinesthetic response, which is the supercharge that gives you the Death Star moment. So then you're able to manifest at will. You are in the fourth dimension. That is your indicator. You're in the fourth dimension. Your brain waves are at such a heightened state that they have been measured to gamma high, like basically hyper gamma, to what they call, I've coined lambda, which is a frequency of 100 to 200 hertz. Blammo. And, this is a state that I operate in and have operated in quite often. This is a state of change instantly. When you want to see a miracle before your eyes, you know you're there. You'll witness it, whatever it is. Manifestation, magic, healing, it doesn't matter. You'll know you're there because you will feel like you have just done a marathon for 4 hours. You've generated so much energy, concentrated energy within your field, within your neural network, and it is literally having you sweating like a I'm not even going to, these are channeled moments that I experience on a daily basis, depending upon what I'm doing, whether it's direct source information, whether it's being involved in a manifestation, a healing, magic itself. You create these different states, and it's your connection to the field, the instant access to information. That is what takes place. And to do that, you generate energy. Remember, this is a new concept too that has just been hit the presses. They've come to the realization that, the universe is infinite. Yes, the dimensions are related to levels of consciousness within this operation this simulation that you're having now. And now they are qualifying, quantifying, accepting truth to be known that guess what? You are able to access abundance, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite energy, frequency, vibration. This is like a new thing, guys. You can stamp the date on this, but from a scientific perspective, they have just run the gun on this thing, and they are elated with excitement. Newsflash, we've known this forever. Yet I love the validator, because the validator helps all of us, which is a signaler and an identifier for the individual. And this is why when we train people in these methods and systems to acquire this state that we're talking about, you need to feel it. It's not true unless it's true to you, and you'll know when it's true because you'll have acquired this consciousness And by the way, when you sync the brain and the heart, you effectively you create this state. It's the gamma state, the combination of theta and alpha and gamma all operating at once. This heightened consciousness with the ability to be porous for absolute instant change, and that's the frequency you need to be in. You're correlating the brain and the heart frequency with the universe, which then gives you the expression, I need to be grounded, because that frequency is equal to, the heart is pumping out 0.1 hertz. The earth pumps out 0.1 hertz. The brain is pumping out 0.1. That's the coherence, baby. You can't make this stuff up. And so when they measure coherence, it has to do with the brain, heart, and the gut. The messaging comes from the heart, it goes to the brain, down to the gut. That transmits your gut feeling. You can also have it from the heart. You can have it from the head. This is where you talk about, oh, I led with my head, I led with my heart, I led with my gut. Ultimately, once you tune the heart, all bets are off. You are a superpower. You are supernatural with your ability. This is critical. And so that synchronization is the game changer for anybody, because that's when you manifest. That's when you create instantly.
Would you say that, like, for yourself as a master and been doing this for so long, it's kind of like you're in that sports car and it's like, okay, I want to go to this brainwave. I click sports mode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want to go to this brainwave, track mode. Oh, I want to go to this one, turbo.
Right.
And it's literally just like click, click, click. And you're there ready to do anything.
Anything. And there is nothing like, unless you have experienced it yourself, the cohesion that is created and that elated euphoric feeling that you sync yourself with the earth. And you know the old expression, Mother Earth is so nurturing. That synchronization is undeniable. And then you have that heightened level of gamma. And then if you're not just projecting your own dreams and visions and crafting your reality, you also create this transmitter and amplifier for any information, any spirit, any energy instantly, which is part of how you create the perfect vehicle for channeling. That's my bag, baby. And so understanding this is the ground level stuff for everything. You must have coherence. And to synchronize yourself is when you get the result. And it's undeniable. It's irrefutable. You will feel it, and that will be the indicator. And that's where Jade and I talk about, take it at face value. We've put all the mechanics into it so that all you do is hit play, and it gives you the visual and audible experience that creates the kinesthetic response. That's when you know you're there, guys. You're right there on the target, ready to shoot, and Death Star moment, instantaneously creating the rippling effect within the field, because you have gone from first person, third person to no person, manifesting instantly within the fourth dimension, collapsing time and space, and being ultra aware, evoking that gamma wave, that hyper gamma wave. And depending upon your skill set, how much you train in this, you can go beyond. And there's also the other end of the spectrum, which is evident too when you do this training, that you evoke the epsilon frequency, which is 0.05, which is even lower than delta, which is deep REM sleep. And what they're coming to realize, and what we know, I know from practical experience and from everything that I've seen in the last 30 years, personally, I know these states affect change. And because I was doing it before I even had a fundamental understanding of this scientific stuff. It's referenced in Taoist texts for thousands of years. I can give you that, but it also helps you understand it from a scientific perspective so you can validate it for yourself. But it all comes down to the one part, and the one part that's necessary is that supercharge. Once you get that supercharge, you are unstoppable. You can do anything, and that ability to collapse all these dimensions, be making sure that what's going on inside you is also a reflection of outside you, which is your complete manifestation.
Would you say people do this completely unaware?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Again, Jade and I talk about it. Just refer to whoever you admire, as an athlete, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, as someone who is a master, the best achiever of whatever field they're into. They're doing it. They're doing it unconsciously. Now, it's fantastic that they're acquiring this ability to focus their attention. Remember, wherever your thoughts go, the energy flows, and that's why it's so powerful. That's why visualizers are the number one hottest manifestors on the face of the earth, is once you create an imagery, all bets are off. Right? And so
I was going to say, but anyone can do this.
Anyone. You just have to align yourself. Now, again, the scientists have been framing this out, and they're all excited that now they can give you the building blocks of the fundamentals. I'm excited that I can speak on it, not just from a Taoist ancient text practicing ritual perspective that I can give you in ultra detail that's been handed down for thousands of years, but I also reflect on it from a psychologist perspective, from a scientist perspective, from a healer's perspective, from a Taoist master's perspective, from an everyday Joe perspective. Any way you want to cut it, I can deliver it to you so you understand the magic that you create within inside you.
And that's really why we created our app, and the 126 experience is giving people that recipe, giving people that formula, that system.
Right.
That they don't have to think about it. They don't have to research it. They don't have to find the magic answer.
Right.
They just have to sit there and press play and listen and watch and feel.
And their neurology will do everything for them. Their neurology will evoke the response due to the visual, audible experience, evoking a kinesthetic response, and blammo, you have the magic that's necessary for you to manifest. Mm-hmm. Now, you train in it. We always talk about baseline, about getting your emotions. You control your emotions don't control you. This is baseline stuff. This is infantile stuff. And you will come to realize how powerful you are and how quickly you can acquire the control over those things and shift into all these other states as you continue to expand your consciousness and then manifest, be the master, keeper, creator of your reality, manifesting anything you want. Evoking these brainwaves is the key.
Yeah.
And then the quantum model is reflective of everything, and it doesn't get any more sound to you when you experience it, because the truth is only what you believe. It's the only truth that you need to be concerned with, and to validate it, you must be able to feel it. If you can't feel it, you can't see it. If you can't see it, you cannot create it. Blammo.
I think a really good example of that is your first kiss. Mm-hmm. You can sit here and describe it to someone who's never had it before. You can give them, this is what you'll feel. This is a sensation, or this is the whatever physical attributes of it. But when someone feels it for the first time, it's unique to them. They have their own experience, whether it's good, whether it's bad. That's us describing it versus you actually feeling it and going, oh, okay, I get it.
And this is the magical part, right? Understanding everything is a thought, an emotion, and a feeling. We go back to the basics, understanding how Jade and I teach you this. But the key component, what you need to grasp, and I want everyone to understand right here, right now, is that guess what? You are going to have moments where you are challenged with your emotions. I got news for you. It's going to happen. But guess what? Once you master those emotions, you can feel it for a second. You can feel it for a minute. You can feel it for an hour. Or you can not feel it at all because you have the ability to change your state, and it's solidified within your neurology. This is the key. Understanding how those neural pathways are being created, those new energy information highways that are being created from the practice that we give you, the methodology, the system that is created in the 126. It gives you the power, and you create it and morph it and tailor it to your experience. No two experiences are the same. This experience will be unique to you because your experience is unique to you. What you are put into your neurology is unique to you. It's the sum of your life experiences. That is what creates the secret sauce. So by doing that, you take the heart of the brain of the heart, the brain of the brain, the gut of the brain. We could call it three brains, but in reality, if you want to get technical, someone will go, you've only got two brains. Actually, you got one. And neurology speaks differently, understanding the synchronicity. And I will appreciate the fact that they went and they took people. And I see this under controlled situations. When I put an EEG on someone, they go through the experience and you watch their brain light up like a Christmas tree. The brainwaves are evoked instantly, and you get into the brainwave state of manifestation, the brainwave state of change, and that will be instantaneous once you leap into that fourth dimension. So it separates, it diminishes, it dilutes, it destroys space and time. So you're no longer working on this Newtonian model of cause and effect. You are it. It is happening inside you right now. It's happening inside you, outside you. Your understanding, by going into that fourth dimension of consciousness, you're coming to the realization that guess what? We're all interconnected. The interconnected model is clear. The quantum model is clear. I am you, you are me. When that is present and you raise yourself to that consciousness, you get that kinesthetic response. You're now able to affect change within the field and manifest whatever you want, drawing it to you rather than you having to go and get it, which is an old model and understanding of how physics operates.
Yeah, and I think getting back to that point where you're like, you know, you are going to have emotional challenges, something is going to come up, it's going to raise an emotion. I think when you do it the first time and realize I have that power.
I got the superpower.
I got that.
I got it.
I got it.
I got the glow.
It just, the more you do it, the easier it gets, the faster it gets, the simpler it gets. And just like, you know, the first time going to the gym and trying to lift a 10-pound dumbbell and it's difficult. And then a year later, you know, you're lifting 80 pounds in one arm with no problem. The more you practice, the more you do it, you'll start doing it completely unconsciously and not even have to sit there or think about it or be like, wow, I spent an hour on this. Now I'm only spending a minute on this.
Well, that's heightened. That's like part of the system that we've created, is working on your neurology so that every day you become more the master, more the keeper, the creator of your reality. You strengthen that connection. That neural pathway is being heightened. You are wiring it for result, and the system that we put out, the 126 experience, primes you for that exact end result, which is you control your emotions don't control you, And within the side effect of that is your ability to manifest, jumping into that fourth dimension, first person, third person, no person, creating a state of awareness that everything is all is one is all. And within that state, you are able to manifest the connective kinesthetic response is the supercharge that gives you the green light that goes, oh my goodness, it's now, I feel it, do it. That's right, Marty, 88 miles an hour. It's right there. That's the Death Star moment. Clam, bam, thank you, man, kaboom. That's when you get it. That's the exciting part. That's what we want you to be excited about. And it's all coming from coherence. It's all with that understanding. And once that takes place, magic is present. Magic has anything in your wildest imagination becomes your reality. Hands down. And so to effect change in real time, to evoke those brainwaves, you go through the system to break it down, understanding the visual, audible, kinesthetic response, thought, feeling, emotion. And that raises you past that consciousness. It steps you over out of the third dimension into the fourth, into the fifth, and so on, heightening your sense of awareness, which as you get into the ninth level dimension and above, you are now getting into states of gamma that are off the chart, that you can't even, that they haven't, the scientists haven't even registered yet. And whoop-de-doo, I'm excited for you when you get there. I'm already there. When you get there, let me know, and I'll be able to correlate it with the ancient Taoist text to help you understand where it came from. Just saying.
Yeah, no, and they've done so many different tests of like watching people walk through the scanners at the airport, and the people watching it are like, there's this, you have something in your brain and your hat, and it's like the person's like, I'm bald, I'm not wearing anything, but it's like they're lighting off so much
And
of
you know
that
that's
energy and those brain waves. It's like they walk through the I don't know what it is, the physical.
yeah, well,
it's
I
like
mean,
it's like a
I
scanner.
mean, we won't go through there. The one time I did, that was the response I got.
Yeah.
Because when you're able to shift your attention, shift your consciousness at will, evoke that ability to tap into that neural pathway and cultivate that energy and supercharge it anywhere in your physical body, that's when you affect change and you're able to alter things at a level that is only created in someone's imagination until this point. Because you have heard me right now, it is shifting your level of consciousness, giving you the green light to create and to be the biggest, baddest master and keeper and creator of your reality. It's just the same side effect that comes with the understanding the concept of 4-minute mile. Once you've registered as real to you, it's possible.
Yeah.
And that's why that magic and how we've set this up, so you get the kinesthetic charge. It is now validated as real, and it is now possible for you to achieve that goal right here, right now. Kaboom!
It's only limited by your imagination.
Your dreams, your reality, your dreams equal your reality. Understanding the quantum model, stepping to 4, 5, 6, 9th dimension, anything past 4, that means all bets are off, because you're now in the field. You're in the field of imagination. You're in the field of creativity. Remember, why do we always reference imagination? We reference imagination because the highest sense that a human being has is their vision sense. And when that is on fire, when that is constructed and it is elevated at its highest optimal level of operation, you will create instantly from the field.
So
wherever the energy goes, wherever your thoughts go, the energy flows. Blammo.
I feel like people kind of come at this in two different ways when they talk about like we're in a simulation. I kind of understand it that like when you get to that 4th dimension, are you taking the glasses off that you see all of this, or are you putting the glasses on that you're seeing everything in wave, everything in frequency, everything in energy?
It's an interesting thing because my clairsenses adjust the visual effect of everything that I see, which is I'm operating in gamma at a degree of frequency of gamma all day, every day, because my visual effect is tangible. I look at Jade, I look at one of my teachers, my masters that guide me and give me direct source information. They're as real and as tangible as she is in my open eyes. I don't have to close my eyes and activate my pineal gland. It is operating real time right here, right now. So I'm operating in that field. The only way you're going to manifest healing, magic manifestation in this, what you consider a three-dimensional simulation, which it is when you shift to that fourth dimension. When you shift, you will know. That's why the kinesthetic response is the register, and that's why it's so detailed. It's in ancient texts, in ancient practices. We're not the only ones doing this, guys, but we have it down. We got it hands down, the system that affects change. And so that change is instantaneous. You know that is the register. You'll know you're in the fourth dimension. That's why we start with that, because your sensory perception will develop with your exposure to the 126 experience, your exposure to the visual, audible, kinesthetic response. It develops over time. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger as you acquire these skills. So your sensory perception, your vision sensory perception may be deficient as opposed to excess, and over time you will develop these clairsenses that are out of the realm of the five senses that you are familiar with. That's why people talk the sixth sense. Yeah, understanding another shift in your consciousness, another shift in dimensional reality that you are aware of and has been studied by physicists for hundreds of years and is validated because you're able to transform what's inside you, outside of you, and it's tangible. It's tangible that you are living this reality, and the register and the validator of that is the supercharge. So you don't have to go, hey, I want the clairsenses. Most people don't want clairsenses. They just want the perfect reality. And so we got you. We got you. You don't have to develop the Harry Potter skill sense, the clairsenses that are layered way beyond the five senses. I don't want to tell you that there's actually 9, and then we continue. Let's go. Misdirection, understanding Eastern philosophy, Eastern practice, any type of Eastern mystical stuff is never as it seems, guys. Let you know right here, right now, whatever you think you see in a book or however someone has taught you, the reason it's not taking place is because it's not the real deal. You haven't got the real source, because they're leaving components out that give you the access point. We are not. No. We are giving you these components, and it's all encapsulated in the experience. That's the profound part. This is what everyone gets their mind blown by, because it actually happens. And you're just being trained. You're being guided and crafted in this so that you can have the most magical, mystical reality. And whatever you imagine, you create, and it starts within that fourth dimension. So you must have that kinesthetic charge. You must create the coherence between the heart, brain, and the gut. And that's critical.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like a training system. Like, I want to be an Olympic swimmer. Mm-hmm. I first have to learn how to swim.
Right.
Then I have to perfect my stroke. Then I have to perfect my speed. Then I have to practice and keep getting better. And as I keep getting better, my consciousness keeps opening. And now I can compete at the level I want to compete at. And maybe I shouldn't use swimmer, because I think consciousness is probably easier than 20 years of training in a pool all the time. you create these little building blocks that just build on itself, and we have to start you getting
crawling before you walk,
before
before
you
you
walk,
run.
before you do any of those other things. But you have everything needed to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
You don't need anything other than this system to affect that change and get to wherever you want to go, whatever mastery level you want, whether it's the perfect life, a charmed life, whether you want to be talking to every spirit that exists out there. It's really up to you.
well, again, I'll reiterate what Jade said. It's understanding that you have everything you need. If you're a human being, if you have the neurology of a human being, you're going to be affected by this material. This material will give you the unique to you experience, creating the cohesion and the culmination of your conscious and unconscious. It will merge together, and that's the dissolving of yin and yang, the dissolving of up and down, in and out, the separation of the idea that there is a separation. So that means that once they merge together, duality is non-communicado. John Wick or something, I don't know. And so guess what? When you're non-communicado and you,
incommunicado,
whatever it is, you are one with everything. That merger of those two. And this is also lit up in understanding how the brain separates when it is incoherent. When it is coherent, you merge everything as one. And this is what you need to evoke those brain waves, is the kinesthetic response by the visual and audible experience. And that's when you're aligned. That is when you're in the flow. That is when you affect change. Whatever you take from your mind, you turn into your reality within this field, within this fourth dimension. And that is a state of consciousness. Dimensions are a state of consciousness, guys. Mm-hmm. And when you operate in that, and that's why we make it very simple. The Taoists have always made it simple, because we're not assuming that you're going to have to craft these skills to a refined level. Masters have been using these for thousands of years. We have created to a point where once you get that charge and you have a physiological effect, it's yours. I repeat, it's yours.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. That's the supercharge. That's the kinesthetic response that validates it for you and you alone. No one else, just you.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. And
it's empowering. I'll use the
Well,
word empowering.
it is empowering. And so Jade and I have made it really simple. We've created a user's manual that is in the last final stages of being produced. I'm assuming that it's going to be out in the next couple of days, but we'll keep you in tune with that on a day-to-day basis. But basically, it's a color by numbers version, basically giving you a complete step-by-step rundown of how to acquire this state of consciousness to get to where you want to go. Now, it's the formula and the ingredients are all you need. Like, the formula breaks it down from A to Z. We give you everything. I'll explain it to you in depth, in understanding within this manual. So you have it. You're like, I got it in my hot little hands. Taoist Master San Quinn has given me the manual to manifestation, the manual to magic, the manual to healing. These are the building blocks. Everything that you need to know from start to finish on how you get to that level of consciousness. And the fastest way is to hit subscribe, download our app, and get there, because we have put it all together. You are not having to divert yourself to some other way of acquiring the visual audible experience to create the kinesthetic response. It is there for you right here, right now. Download the app, subscribe, and become the master, the keeper, the creator of your reality.
Empower yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Realize that you have everything you need. You are not a victim.
No.
You can create anything you can imagine. If
Yeah.
you can see it, you can create it.
If you can believe it and you can see it, you can create it. And that's the gear shift aha moment. Just like if you can't feel it, you can't see it, you can't create it. Be all and end all. And so this is where the magic is. I think we're fundamentally giving you understanding the correlation of realizing the connection between the heart and the brain and the gut, that the neurology is working. The new mind bender, the bender is the heart is the actual master in chief. The brain is like the senior master in chief, and the gut is just an amplifier of the actual signal that gives you this sense that I got a gut reaction. And so your whole body is an amplifier. But this is the system and this systematic way that you transfer and project information from your field and draw it into your field using these tuning forks, the heart, the brain, and the gut. And that gets you the response that you want, shifting yourself into these brain waves that instantly takes you to this dimensional shift, this consciousness shift that makes you know the kinesthetic response means you're right there. That's the validator. That's all you need to know. I got that. Oh, I got it. Sifu said right now, Death Star, bam. And that's what it takes. Because once you hit that, you project your thought form into the field. It's equal to or greater than. It meets it instantaneously, as we understand entanglement, that everything is entangled. You move here, it moves there. You move there, it moves here. You move here, it moves here. Nothing is void of this integrated field, and that makes time and space not even part of the equation when it comes to manifestation. It makes time and space, because we always speak on it. We speak on it clearly. It comes from the Jade Emperor. The Jade Emperor, one of our teachers, reminds us, let the man that's never left his village, let him know that he has seen the world. Now, when we encapsulate that in reference to what we're experiencing right now, is understanding that we can refer to that everything is inside us, back to the mirror magic model. Whatever's inside you is outside of you. Back to the epigenetic model. Whatever you're experiencing, you are the product of your environment. That changes, your thoughts change your reality. Think it, believe it, imagine it, create it. This is the system. This is the layering of the system. So that mirror magic is relevant to everything that you know that is.
Yeah, I kind of see the coherence in you saying like the brain. I mean, the heart has the brain. It's kind of like, that's, you order the food, then it sends it up to the brain. It makes the food, then it sends it down to the gut, and that's how you receive it. That's how you're receiving whatever the message. It gets sent, it gets processed, and then it gets out.
And so from a Taoist perspective, it's the sun, the moon, and the earth. And this is the epicenter. This is where the earth lies for Taoists. And this is where it is the source of information. The information keeper, the Jade Emperor, is what holds the information. And when you correlate it to this scientific system, you go, boom, mind blown. You can't make this stuff up. This has been going on for thousands of years, but what a coincidence that they've given us in text, ritual, and cultivation for thousands of years, yet big brain on Brad comes in and goes, the mathematical sum for this and that and this and that, and using the neurology of this and that and understanding this, and guess what? You're right. Thank you, big brain Brad. But no, we move on. We move on. And I love people being validated. I love the cynicism, the cynical nature of human beings as a primal instinct of survival, because when you show them something that they believe is impossible, mind blown, mic drop, and now get on with your reality. Because guess what? Thank you. I'll just do it. You're welcome. You're shifted your consciousness from what you've been exposed to, realizing that entering that fourth dimension, entering that simulation, or of moreover that this is all a simulation, and that wherever you draw your attention, the energy flows. And in the theory, what they're explaining right now in science, in physics, is that this is all a simulation, and wherever you're putting your attention is when it turns into particle. Wherever you aren't putting your attention, it is always wave. That means we're always present with the energy. Everything is energy, everything is frequency, everything is vibration. All is one is all, encapsulated.
Yeah, and I think that's why we do enjoy like talking to scientists or physicists or anyone, because I like watching that consciousness like drop, or that like light bulb, come on. It's like it's watching. It's like reliving it for the first time, or watching it through someone else's eyes, and it is I know you're very comical with it, but we do, like, it's exciting. We get excited by other people opening their consciousness, discovering these things that maybe we've already discovered, but watching them go through it, it's as if we're watching it for the first time, and it's
that's
incredible.
Well, I mean, and like Jade said, again, guys, the human response to validate your consciousness or what is real is the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to frame your reality. You have to craft your reality. You have to imagine your reality for it to be real in the field, the quantum field of change, the quantum field of manifestation, instantly magic healing manifestation. To do that, you must feel it. And when you feel it, you're there. You're done. Blammo, slam dunk, Death Star, all in, 100%. And that's the validator that Jade talks about, because that is where science is now going, I can validate this because the numbers tell me this, and this is what happens, so now it's true to me. Good job, Big Brain Brad. And so that is all relevant. I'm excited because everyone has their own level of perception. Do never, ever doubt. Always remember, the student is the teacher is the student. There is never a level or a moment that you're not raising your consciousness, because the second you stop doing that is the moment in time when your reality, your manifestation, your magic will diminish and cease to exist, because this is the seed. This is where it all happens. So with that said, I believe we've covered a lot within this particular subject. We're going to go into more detail. You can acquire the manual, and it's the handbook and step-by-step guide to your magic manifestation and healing instantly by using that system, which is laid out in great detail, explaining to you all the mechanisms and how they work. I feel very grateful to be able to share this information with the world. It's necessary. You use that, you read that, your mind gets blown, then you go download, then you subscribe to the Way 126, then you hit play, and then your mind gets blown again. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Your mind gets blown from your heart, your mind gets blown from your head, and you are now shifted to another level of consciousness, which is all we want to do is keep shifting that consciousness, raising the awareness within this field that we're in, realizing that also the 9 dimensions are 9 more dimensions, are 9 more parallel universes. I mean, we can go on all day, every day, and we will, and we'll keep dropping the truth bombs right here on the channel, letting you know how to access your consciousness, how to level up and create the reality that you want instantly. On that note, I would like to thank my divine, delectable co-host, Jade.
Thank you.
This has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's always fun. It's always exciting sharing with you guys and getting you to level up on your own awareness, level up on your own consciousness, level up on your own knowing, because I will always remind you, right from the words of Lao Tzu, know who you are, know where you're going. Blammo. And with that, I'm your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Quinn. And I'll see you on the next one, guys.